the Entrepreneur Success Formula podcast, where we get down to earth with real entrepreneurs who work hard and know that success is more than just a mindset, because it takes blood, guts, and a bucket full of luck to survive and thrive in the world of business today. My name is Damian Smyth. I'm the author of the Entrepreneur Success Formula and the host for today's show, and I will be asking 10 quick-fire questions to today's entrepreneurial guest, who is Mark Kennedy, who runs Future Toolbox and is a multi-award-winning motivational speaker and author of, get this title, this is a great title, Don't Get Your Neck Tattooed, which is a book for teens, young adults, and also a guide for parents and teachers, showing students how to make study and revision easy, quicker, and fun. So, Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's great to be here.
It's my absolute pleasure. And as we were just talking earlier, it's early morning here in the UK. Well, actually, not that early morning. It's actually sort of lunchtime really for most people. But for some reason, we're just like a bit sluggish today. So we're going to try and inject some pace into the show today so that we don't come across all sluggish. So apologies in advance. It's kind of like the weather's a bit today. So, Mark, tell me, why did you start your business? When did you start your business? And most importantly, how did you get your first customer?
Great question. Yeah. By the way, thank you for that wonderful introduction. That was amazing on this British weather day. Yeah. But yes, we started the business. I run the business with my wife Jules, and we started in 2009. So actually, 11 years ago this week, just gone. So that was pretty cool. Both of us worked in post-16 education, and we were helping teenagers get their first job and then taking them on an apprenticeship journey as well. And I realised that I wasn't just getting people a job, I was almost sort of coaching them as well, and Jules was doing the same. So a few years beforehand, we were on a beach and decided to have an idea, let's run our own business. And
always happens on a beach.
Yeah, it always starts on a beach or in a bar, and I guess we were probably in a beach bar. So.
And there was two of you. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. So yeah, the idea was born there in the sun, and after a few years of thinking about it, eventually it was me initially that set it up, and I'd seen a motivational speaker in a school or running a session there, and I thought, that's so much better than what I'm doing. Let's give that a go. So yeah, we got started, and my first customer was a school that I'd worked with delivering career sessions through my old job, and I just got in touch with the guy there who was the chairman at my running club as well, and said, "Oh, can I come and try a session out?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course you can, you know." I went and worked with about 10 or 12 students, and he said, "Oh, charge us something for us." So I invoiced him 50 quid. Which was well below, what we charge. And I tell you what, when that invoice first came through and the money landed in my bank, it was better than getting paid. That was, it's like, yes, my first customer. And we went on to work with them for a number of years, so that was great.
Brilliant. I really hope that there's some people who have like taken this episode away. They're currently listening to it on a beach by a bar somewhere, and they're thinking, "Oh, I could start a business, darling. We could start a business." You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, what has been the biggest mental challenge you've had to overcome as an entrepreneur? And I'm also going to add a bonus question in there. What's it like working with your wife in a business?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Great question. We get asked that quite a lot, actually, because we worked together anyway beforehand. So we were quite used to that. I guess the biggest challenge that we face is because we live together, work together, travel together, do everything together, business sometimes becomes life. Yeah. So sometimes the business side can overtake what you're trying to do in your own time, and vice versa. You can be sitting there and thinking, "Oh, do you know what, let's go out for a walk, or let's take a day off and go to wherever," or something like that. So it's probably, I guess, one of our challenges now is actually working together and staying focused and staying on track. That can be difficult. One of the early days' biggest challenges, and I'm sure you've had this as well, Damian, is imposter syndrome, where you see somebody else and you think, "Oh, they're really, really good. What am I doing here?" And you start to feel a little bit like a bit of a fake, I suppose. And then, we won 2 business awards, as you said in the introduction. And I think the first year we won it, we were sort of sitting there thinking, oh my God, how did we win that? How did we do that? And how good is that? And then the second year we won it, we were almost sitting there thinking, well, we better win it, because if we don't, we'd be really disappointed. And we did. And it changed from, how good was that to how good are we? And that mindset massively changed. But it still slips in. Even sometimes we sit there and think, why would somebody buy our program? Why would they book us? There's somebody out there who's better. They're doing it better than us. So definitely a big mental challenge, that.
I think that is it's that and understanding, cash flow are kind of like the 2 kind of prerequisites to being an entrepreneur. I've never met an entrepreneur who doesn't get imposter syndrome. And I've never met a successful entrepreneur who doesn't understand cash flow. So fantastic. So if you had to start all over again from scratch, if you had, had the idea in the beach bar and then you had to go and have day one again, what is the very one thing you would have done differently?
That's a really difficult one, I guess. I think I probably would have had more of a business plan and probably would have networked a bit earlier, because I sat there in my spare bedroom with a desk and a computer, and everybody had a desk and a computer then, so it wasn't anything I went out and specifically bought for the business. And I remember sitting there and thinking, wow, this is quite cool. What do I do now? And I sat there for about half an hour thinking, I've got no plan. I was still working part-time in my job as well, so I was still very much in work mode. And it took a long time to realise that, actually, a year down the line, I think I'll have a website. That sounds a good idea. And then somebody invited me to a networking group, and I was like, they were a bit strange things. I don't really need to do one of them. I'm not going to get any schools book me through that, And it worked really well because I was working with people I knew, but it was just not having that plan in place. And probably on year 11, I'd probably say we still need to plan better, but we still need to network better, but we have a better idea of how to do it now.
Fantastic, I love it. Talking about plans, right? Okay, so we're in the UK, and I don't know when you're going to listen to this. If you listen to this way in the future, but, we are currently in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis here in the UK, and our Chancellor, who at this moment in time is Rishi Sunak, has come up with some very creative ways to help us out of this mess, which is quite interesting, actually. I quite like the fact that he said we've got to get creative, because he's absolutely right. But Mark, if you were in charge of UK business right now and you had to get creative, because obviously you are creative in what you do, so what legislation would you introduce to help businesses or entrepreneurs, or actually anyone thinking about it?
I guess for me personally, I found it really quite good running a business in the UK, because we're a self-employed partnership, so there's 2 of us, and that's great. I always go networking. I meet accountants, and they always say, like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about the boring bit now," and it's like, no, I actually enjoy doing my accounts. I don't know why, but I've always liked facts and figures as well as being creative. So that's quite good. But I think for a small independent person or small independent couple, it works really well for us, because everything seems quite easy. We get access to grant funding, which we've used in the past. Northamptonshire, I find, is a great place to run a business. But one thing I find a lot, and funny enough, I was talking to my uncle yesterday, who's now retired and run his own garage for years. And I think the issues that I hear a lot are companies that employ people or have big premises and big overheads. And as we went into the COVID lockdown, the fear for a lot of people was amazing. And for us, it wasn't probably as bad, because we sort of thought, well, we work from home. Okay, we've got no income coming in, but we've got no expenses going out either. And I guess, like, the conversation I had with my uncle yesterday, he was telling me how much tax he paid over the years and how much his rates were. And, he was having to pay out sort of £3,000-4,000 a month business rates before it even started. And he was employing people, and he had to jump through so many hoops when employing people, And then, of course, you always get that one person who is a nightmare employee. And there's only a few. They walk around and visit lots of companies, I'm sure. But
bad apples,
it's and Jules has been here as well, and she was working as a manager in a full-time job. It's so difficult to deal with that situation that you end up, going through a really stressful process. And I'm not saying make it easy to sack really bad employees, but just make some of these things a little bit easier for business. Mm-hmm. So, if a company is employing so many people, then give them discounts on their business rates or something. So if Jules and I decided to employ somebody tomorrow, we would then all of a sudden have to jump through loads and loads of different legislation, and it almost puts us off thinking like we want to employ somebody. When we went through the Growth Hub and applied for a grant, there was a lot of statistics on, will you grow your business as in create opportunities? And the amount of conversations we had with them, and I went on trainings about employing staff, and I just thought, I don't want to do that. And it's a real shame, because I don't think I could open that door for somebody, because the fear it put into the two of us, and will that take our focus away from what we're doing really, really well? We might get a great employee, but what if we don't? So I think there's just make everything simple, make tax simple, which they keep saying they're doing. Make laws simple, make loopholes simple, but look after the smaller companies who are trying to grow a little bit more and make that a little bit easier. And I feel really bad saying that, because I think there is a great opportunity for businesses to grow. Self-employment opportunities are absolutely amazing in this country. So, but just keep improving, like we keep improving ourselves, keep improving the system, I think.
I think we're very good at red tape in this country. My mum's got a place in Greece, and throughout we were seeing the guidance given by the Greek government on, how to do stuff. And it was very simply laid out, very clear from day one. And, they've got hardly any cases of COVID over there. So, as a result, I think just clarity and simplicity is often overlooked in this country. But we do like red tape, you see. That's, it's like the David Wellington sketch, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, so what has been your best marketing tactic and why?
Yeah, wow. I probably got to say networking. I've also run a network marketing business, so predominantly a lot of my networking has been around that, because network marketing, networking go hand in hand. But since we've gone into lockdown, I've actually started networking more as Future Toolbox, and it's been really fascinating. It's been really eye-opening to go into network groups and say, hey, this is what I do. And also more looking at more from the point of view of working with parents and teachers, parents and young adults, as opposed to just focusing on the school. So it's opened our eyes a lot. But yeah, I think like yourself, people buy your passion, don't they? And they buy you as a person. And then the more you help other people, the more they help you. So I think that's been a real powerful tool for us. And it's learning from the other people in the networking as well. So, we may just talk to somebody and get that one idea and think, oh man, that is amazing. By networking actually helped us make the decision to apply for the business awards and put in an application for that, before the deadline come up. And if we hadn't networked, we probably wouldn't have had that belief to think, actually, we could go for this and we could try and win this. Ironically, they asked me to speak at the event as well and encourage people to enter it. So I thought, well, I've got to enter it now, haven't I? So yeah, being around people. And the other biggest tool really is ourselves, our own self-belief. So putting that through social media. We've had companies or schools, I should say, and schools educations organisations come to us. We want to work with you because you guys look really genuine on social media, and maybe they've picked us up off of Instagram or Twitter. I think a lot of it is the person yourself and the the people you're networking with, the people you hang around with, the associations and everything.
Yeah. And that's another reason why people should always use the rule of thirds and always talk about the rule of thirds. It's like a third of your social media should be your content, a third
Yeah,
should be, you're commenting on other people's content, and then the last third is all about you as a person. And
absolutely.
people used to not get that. It's like, well, why would I want to see what people are having for breakfast? So it's because you're a human being and because you're, that's what people love, is like people are humans. Fantastic. Right. What's your favorite business book? And it can't be yours or mine. It can be.
Damn.
What's your favorite business book?
I tell you what, I'm going to pick two. I'm going to be greedy again. I think I've answered all these questions. You've said, what's the best? And I'll pick two things for everything. So I'm being greedy. Business book, I tell you what, one of the books that absolutely changed things for me was The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Oh, I love that book. It's one of my faves. Yeah.
We was at a network marketing conference, first one we went to. I say conference, it was a big, lively event. It was absolutely brilliant. You know, you're talking motivation to the rafters there. And Darren Hardy spoke at that event, and I'd never heard of the guy before, no idea who he was. Came on stage, heard the American accent, and thought, this guy's going to be rah, rah, rah. No disrespect to the American motivational world, but it's all very jump up and Tony Robbins type thing. I thought it's going to be like that. And Darren Hardy, he introduced the compound effect, and I just sat there and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I got the audio book, and it's probably worn out on the CD when I used to play it in the car because I played it so many times. So yeah, that was a game changer. And then a few years ago, Jules bought me The Chimp Paradox for my birthday, and that, again, that was a book that you can't read in a day. You go back in and out of it, and again, if you haven't read that book, read it, because it's just such an amazing analogy about how we think, how we act, the psychology of the brain, and it's just really good fun as well. So I'll pick them too.
Great one. Okay, so what is your morning routine? First of all, are you a night owl or an early bird?
Yeah, definitely not an early bird, I'll tell you that.
Well, we can change this. What's your evening routine if you wanted to?
Yeah, that's all. No, I can do the morning routine because, again, and you'll know what it's like, Damian, you work for yourself. Routines can be sometimes quite difficult, can't they? Because you don't go to work, sit in the traffic and, park your car, walk into the office and say hello to everybody, have a cup of tea. So yeah, generally my first thing are a couple of bits of self-care. So when I get out, the first thing I do is I drink a pint of water, once I've gone downstairs, because I think that just gives you the hydration and the natural energy to start your day off. And then have a really good breakfast, which is normally a smoothie, which is quite natural, full of great ingredients, and that's the key. The first thing that generally we do is things like social media. So we'll get on social media and put a few bits out there, get them out the way. And then who knows? Who knows what happens? If we're in a school, and obviously we'll be traveling to a school, or we'll have traveled the night before. If we've got like a meeting with yourself this morning, we'll hop onto Zoom or go meet somebody face to face when the world's reopened again. So the days are so varied. There's normally a quick look and a quick plan of what we're going to achieve that day. Mm-hmm. I'd probably be lying if we said we did it every day, but we try and look at 3 things we're going to achieve that day. But if you're busy or you're straight into a school session, that maybe doesn't always happen. And then just go with the flow. It sounds a little bit like we're making up as we go along, but believe it or not, there is a plan in place.
A little one. Right, and you can have 2 answers to this one as well, because what is your business or industry do you think going to look like in 50 years from today? And let's talk about the mentoring, apprenticeships or training, and also being like a speaker and an author, right? You could do both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. 50 years from now, wow, that's really interesting, isn't it? I think it's really hard to answer, because things seem to change year by year now, don't they? Even 6 monthly sometimes. And I suppose going back on since we started our business, in 10 years, how much has changed has been incredible. But predominantly we're working in the education system, and it's probably no secret that that is very broken. It's very damaged. It's very damaging. Teachers are suffering horrendously from mental health issues. Teenagers, even younger than teenagers, are really, really stressed out to the max. And I think over the last 10 years, 11 years, I've seen gradually each year get more stressful and more about results, less about well-being. So this is a mission that we're on with a lot of other people too, is to change this and to give mental health well-being back to the people. I think I'd like to see it change very, very quickly and not wait 50 years. I'd like to see schools focusing more on looking after yourself as a person, as opposed to learning facts and figures. We'll always say algebra or Shakespeare or whatever, and all those things that a lot of people don't like at school and don't see the point of. But the big thing we're keen on in our own sessions is creating a habit. Mm-hmm. So it's like, look, you could be a student, you could work for 2 years on your GCSE qualifications and resent them, cause trouble, cause hassle, sit there and say, what's the point, complain about them. Or you could take the same timeline, embrace it, talk to your teachers, have a little look at it, give it a go, work with some people, have a bit of fun along the way, and think, right, if I've done all of this along the way, whatever result I get there is irrelevant, really, because I've created all these habits. That's what I've got from it. If I pass it, it's a bonus. And I think that's the mindset the education system needs. It's not like, right, let's look at this and tick all the boxes and the facts and figures. So unless that changes very quickly, in 50 years' time, who knows what education will look like? I've come across more and more public speakers, motivational speakers, people that are working on their own in our sort of personal development industry. And I remember first networking and meeting NLP coaches and thinking, I have no idea what NLP even means. And I realized that a lot of the stuff we were doing is actually NLP techniques. And it's like, wow. So yeah, this is changing rapidly. I think what we're doing as speakers, I think it's going in the right direction. It's working really well. The downside is that a lot of people then jump on board and will do a very short course and say, if you take NLP, for example, it becomes a little bit too accessible. So somebody will go online, do a free NLP course and call themselves a practitioner. Yeah. And that devalues what we do as speakers, as coaches, as motivational speakers or whatever. So it's hard to say what it's going to look like. I'm always like a go with the flow, ride in the moment and embrace changes as they come along. Sit back, look at them for a while, but see how it goes. So yeah, 50 years.
I'm going to have some Zen wisdom in this morning because my girlfriend and I were just lying in bed this morning listening to a Daily Calm, and it was called The Problem with Enlightenment.
Yeah,
this will be fun. So we kind of got into that kind of meditative state. He said the problem with enlightenment is that it's something that you think you have to attain or get to, and actually, if you focus on what you're trying to achieve, you actually miss out on the journey. What's the lesson? There you go. So, and you can exactly the same thing. So, there you go. A bit of extra bonus Zen wisdom for everyone this morning or this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Wherever you're listening to this, if you're listening to it on the beach, you're thinking, "Oh my God, this is mind blowing." Now I'm going to start a business, an NLP business. I'm just going to go. Don't go there. Right. So, what is your favourite business or entrepreneurial movie, and why? And crucially, now, if they made a movie about your business, who's going to play you and who's going to play Jules?
Oh, wow. God. Do you know what one of my worst things is? I watch movies and I forget them very quickly. So I could watch a film 3 days later and think, I've never seen this before. I teach memory techniques, but it doesn't work with movies. Favourite business movie? Do you know what? I didn't read this question earlier, so this is the one I've not prepared to answer, I don't think. I guess for a bit of fun, The Wolf of Wall Street is quite good.
Yeah.
I think there's obviously a lot of dramatisation in there, but I think that guy gets an idea and finds a loophole, and then he deals with all the issues of the people from above and all the big boys trying to take him down, and he almost blows it out of the water. And I think that concept's good. How he blows it out of the water and how he deals with people is probably not the way I'd deal with people. And
Certainly not in schools, anyway.
But yeah, I think that's probably one that I remember watching and thinking, wow, this is a good story hidden behind a lot of hype.
Okay, now you got to be kind here to Jules. So who would play you in the movie, and who would play Jules?
Yeah, and funny enough, when we wrote our third book, a lot of people were saying this is going to be a movie, and I'm desperately racking my brains to think who the characters were that were going to play us. Jules just walking past me. Who are the characters that are going to play us in the movie?
You wanted Bradley Cooper to play you.
Bradley Cooper's mine.
Yeah.
You see.
I would like someone. I love Jennifer Saunders.
Did you hear that?
Jennifer Saunders. Oh, Jules, what have you done?
Now, you will be sitting there in 5 years' time watching a film where Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Saunders are starring alongside each other and thinking, I remember sitting on the beach when those two guys in England were moaning about the weather, and I was sitting there topping up my tan, and they said something really stupid like that. There you go, there it is. It's made.
That's really brilliant. I can't wait for that. Fantastic. And then lastly, well, actually, I'll tell you what are your expands for exit or expansion? And are you writing any other books? And then tell us about how we can get in contact with you and all the books that you've got out there. So,
yes, absolutely. Plans again, like yourself, Damian. We're so excited about creating things and about taking things to the next level. And I think the problem, which is a nice problem we have, is we end up with too many ideas to actually be able to do them. So that's nice, because then you're not sitting there thinking, what do we do next? But next plans, so in the world of COVID at the moment as we know it, that's moved us into the online platform world. Mm-hmm. So our first program is literally going live this week. It's called Rev Up Your Revision, mm-hmm. and it shows teens how to make revision and study easy and fun. And that's a very, very odd thing to say, isn't it? You can imagine like your revision being easy and fun. Doesn't work, does it? But yeah, we can show people how to do that.
I was rubbish in revision.
That's the bit where the guy's sitting on the beach now with a cocktail in his hand thinking, now this guy's really talking. But yeah, so the online platform was going around in circles there. We're launching an online platform. We want to enhance digital learning. But our plan is, and we've noticed this over the years, I used to go into schools freelancing for company, delivering programs and giving the students a great day. And some people would come over and go, Mark, that was brilliant. You got me out of maths this morning. Thank you. And I thought, if I've made somebody get out their least favourite subject, brilliant. And then somebody else would come over, Miss PE, thanks to you, That sort of dropped into my mind over a few years, and thinking, we want to give the students a life-changing experience. Now, they go to school, they learn, they do the same thing every single day, and they get stuck in that sort of that habit loop of school. So we want to go away and leave them with something. And we're creating a program now where we'll try and have more interventions with the students, and then bits and pieces in between, and also collaborate with other people. So it will be something like session, online intervention program that they work on with their teachers, their mentors, their parents. Then we'll go back and see them again. How's it going? Another online intervention. And then there might be a session with, like an NLP coach or a maths tutor, English tutor, who's going to show them how to actually specifically use techniques there. And then there'll be something at the end. So it's all about creating a learning community. And then, that student works with us, they share something with us, we then go and share it with another student in another school. And it creates a community of resources for different people. We'll bring in. I'm going to ask you if you'll star in this for us at some point. But we're going to bring in real life people that we know that love their jobs, love what they do, and say, hey, this is a great thing about my job. Have a look at it and bear it in mind. So you're not just thinking, let's go sixth form, A-levels, university degree, and then get my job sorted then, because that's what the system teaches. So I think the plan for that is the expansion will be collaborating with more people, and we've already started that. These will be independent people, so we're not employing them and go through the red tape. and using the knowledge and expertise of here's Mark and Jules, but here's somebody else. Let's create this for you. And that's where we want to take it. And
Nice.
there's books on the horizon as well. So your revision's going into book form as well.
Excellent. Have you thought about starting a podcast maybe?
Yes, it's on my list. Podcasts and webinars and everything as well. So yeah, there's so many ideas. And I think that's the exciting thing about working for yourself, being your own boss as the world will know it. We don't call it work, we call it fun. We nicked that from was it Edison, wasn't it? Thomas Edison said that. And you can almost do anything. You can think, actually, do you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to change. I'm going to do that instead.
Brilliant. So, if anyone's listening on the beach now, that's the bit that's going to tip them over. They're going to be, right, come on, we're going to start the business.
Yeah, do it. If you're thinking about it, that's the thing, isn't it, though? And I'm sure you'll say the same message, Damian. If you're thinking about it, go for it. Find ways of doing it instead of worrying about how not to do it.
At least you're in charge of your own destiny when you run your own business.
Right. Too right, absolutely.
It might be an absolute headache most of the time, but actually most of the time it isn't. Most of the time it's great fun. Absolutely, yeah. Fantastic. So Mark, that's really great. Thank you very much for your nuggets of wisdom in there, and for inspiring all those thousands of people listening to this on the beaches to start a business. If our listeners want to get in touch with you, how can they do that? Okay, so a number of ways. They can find us on social media, and it's simple. It's Future Toolbox on whichever platform you go on, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Our website's futuretoolbox.co.uk. So keeping it simple. We're also Mark and Jules Kennedy, so kennedyauthors.co.uk, and @KennedyAuthors is the handle for the same social medias for our author pages. So they all sort of link together there. Thanks very much, and I'll put the links to all your books in the show notes as well. And thank you so much for taking the time out for this brief delve into the real lives of real entrepreneurs. Can I ask that you and anyone listening share this podcast with anyone who they think works hard or maybe even wants to start a business? Like us on iTunes, comment on YouTube, subscribe, as we're going out on both. We're doing it in video and audio format now. And if you'd like to take part in this show, simply drop me an email. It's Damian with an A at rethinkingbusiness.biz, and we can have a chat. Mark and Jules, I know because Jules was in it briefly, here's to your future success and thank you. And see you soon. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. And thanks for the opportunity, Damian. Absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure.